Hey, what up?
Hey, what's going on, Alex? And everybody in the chat.
We are back. Silver Screen.
Yes, sir.
I'm Alex. Some people call me the fantasy football hustler.
Yes, they do. So I hear, and it's true. Nelson Tynes here in LA, Hollywood, actor, amongst other things. Yes.
And our homie Scott will be here soon. Shout out to the chat. Let's see. We got Antonio and Crispy up in the house. We got Hearst in the house. There we go. He said he just rolled an extendo. Let's go. This is a good.
Yes, that's the spirit on a Friday evening.
Any given Sunday calls for it. This is a classic movie. Don't forget, if you guys are not subscribed to the Silver Screen Breakdowns YouTube channel, go do that, and you can watch these live streams with us every Friday night, 8 o'clock West Coast time, 5 Eastern.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, let's start it off with what Marty just said. Marty said, "What up, Nelly? Get these actors back to work." I'm curious what's going on with all this. What do the actors and the writers like? What's kind of the bottom line of what they're fighting for? I know a lot of people are interested in this.
Yeah, and I can't even tell you because I heard about it about 2 or 3 days ago before you mentioned it to me today.
Yeah.
And something came in the mail because I'm a SAG member too. Few weeks ago, so I knew about that it was possible that it was going to happen.
Okay.
But I haven't brushed up on it, so I got to do that. But I haven't been auditioning or anything, so it's not affecting me directly. So that's why I haven't. I'm looking at getting another agent. Hopefully, I was going to get one this year, but if not next year. But I still waiting for some footage. I just shot the short film with Damien, as you spoke to on the phone a few days ago.
Yeah.
And he's got a couple films that he has footage of that I'm going to redo my demo reel to get back out there. But I haven't auditioned in years, actually. No, I don't want to say years. I've done a couple of things, but it was like people, they asked for me. So I've worked, but I haven't been actively really using the headshots and stuff and getting out there. So, yeah.
Shout out.
We got the writer's strike still going on, too.
Yeah, and at least from what I'm gathering, because I mean, it seemed like the actors part of this came out of nowhere. We've been hearing about the potential writer's strike for, I don't know, maybe a couple months now. And then it finally happens. And then now the actors follow suit as well. And most of it is behind like Netflix, for example. Netflix doesn't release like any kind of like streaming numbers. They don't let anybody know. And for like residuals, a lot of it's kind of messed up. People want money. I know not every actor wants to be paid up front. Some want the back end money and some of the residuals. And it's hard to get royalties on views and things like that if those kind of numbers aren't being released. So I know there's a big beef with that, and the writers wanting more money as far as that goes. And then as far as the actors go, it is that as well, wanting to be paid proper residuals from like these streaming companies and all that. Because in Netflix, if your movie has like billions of streams on Netflix, the actors just want a piece of that, whatever the piece is. Same thing with the writers. And then it's also just like Hearst said, AI will take over. It's a lot having to do with a lot of this AI technology that's coming out to potentially replace actors, writers, or at least get it to where they don't need them as much and pay them less, for lack of a better term, I feel is what this is all about.
Yeah, they'll be able to use the AI in certain capacities, but the thing is, people still want to see people, though, so you can't get around that.
That's the thing, though. Now with all the computer technology, it's like even you, for example, anything that you've done, because of this AI, they can create you acting a part in some movie. And it's speaking like you, it's walking like you, it's talking like you. Maybe it's not changing things around for this role, but I'm just using you as an example. But that's the kind of things that they're moving towards with all this. Literally taking someone's likeness and taking their face and all that, not having them act, but putting them in a movie.
So using the image, I've seen some of it. Are you talking about when they morph the image? You do that for yourself?
Not
You put, like,
necessarily
the Rock's
morphing.
face on you?
Not necessarily morphing the image, but there's just a lot with like podcast, for example. You can pretty much you could make a podcast in almost like anybody's voice that you want to. Like Bogey was even that he's got friends who has tracks with Tupac and Biggie and stuff because of
Oh,
this,
yeah, I heard that. That's true, yeah.
this AI technology. And like some of the things are for fun, but it's just people don't want their likeness used for anything that they don't get paid for or don't agree upon, like that kind of stuff.
The way I look at it, the laws will straighten it out. I'm not even worried because there's always something. Okay, there's always going to be changes. There used to be phone operators back in the 1960s.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about jobs when there's no more phone operators? What are you going to do when there's cell phones? There's no home phones. There's always something to scare you.
Yeah.
And then somehow everybody seems to figure it out or they don't figure it out. That's the thing. I remember back in 2000, ooh, Y2K, all the computers are going to shut down because the zeros and the ones aren't
Yeah.
going to work. And then 2012, then 2020. And it's just like all this stuff. Now it's AI. You know what? I ain't buying it. Now, is there some sort of a push into the system that's different? Sure. But I think it'll be straightened out. Let's say, okay, they say they'll use your likeness, but then they're going to create some laws that's against it. And then they're going to have to pay the actor something. And right
Yeah.
now, the laws have to catch up to it, catch up to the technology.
Yeah.
It'll straighten itself out. I ain't worried about a thing, man.
Yeah. And so, okay, like you do things with like Damien where you're not necessarily working for production companies. This is like your guys' own stuff that you're doing. Maybe it's not, maybe some of it is to make money off of. A lot is for just perfecting your guys' own craft. Like you guys are still allowed to do that kind of stuff, right? You just can't work for like a production company or things like that.
Right. Yeah, you can do spec. It's called spec productions and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, you work that in creative element because we're not getting paid, so there's no
Right.
threat to them. So and besides, let's say if we couldn't do it, how are they going to regulate it?
Because
They can't. They don't have the manpower to do it.
even one thing that I read is going on. That's why I even asked you, is everything going to still work with the podcast and everything? Because one thing that I read is that the strike prohibits actors from going on podcasts or any kind of TV or anything and promoting old movies that they've created as well.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. And this is just me reading it off an article. Like, I have no idea what the truth is to it. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true. But that was one thing that I read.
Yeah, you have to be aware of what their jurisdiction is. They can maybe hope for that. They hope for a lot of things, but okay, who are they going to hire that's going to regulate all that? That costs a lot of money. It's
For
just like I said, like a lot of it's just unless you tune your own horn and you're a lot of that does pertain to like mainstream media though.
Right.
Like
That's
you're Good Morning America or something like that, or some
yeah.
Joe Rogan maybe. You're not even that. It's network television. Joe Rogan isn't even like network.
Yeah. And that would make sense, like going on any kind of talk show that's on cable or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
That would make more sense because maybe it's promoting a movie that like literally just came out this year that might still be in movie theaters or something like that. And
Yeah, they're not worried about what we're doing.
yeah, oh yeah, for
Promoting
sure.
movies that are like 30 years old, 40
Yeah,
years old.
yeah. All right, and hey, Bogey made it in the house with us. What up,
Hi,
Bogey?
hi guys. I am Bogey.
Bogues,
Sorry I was
introduce
late.
yourselves.
Sorry I was late. I had to send in my artificial intelligent representation.
What
I
are
am
you, a robot?
I am
You are a
still in
robot.
traffic. I am still in traffic right now.
Oh, he's not.
Oh man. All right. So we talked a little bit about the actors strike and at least what little we know of that. That's something that we'll be covering. We do
You
this
give me the names. Give me the list of names, and I'll take care of all of them.
we do this every week, so I'm sure as these weeks progress, we're gonna have more and
Yes.
more info.
I go down the hit list every week.
And like we cover a lot of football stuff on here, and I'm always the guy who's advocating for the players to get more money because the players are the product. Same thing with the actors and the writers. Like we don't give two shits about these CEOs. I know they have to make moves to make sure all these pieces get put in play, but the actors and the writers, those are the ones who are delivering these movies that we love. So yeah, we want them to get paid
You
more.
know what sucks? What sucks is when like you're the one that created something and then people are eating off of it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Because then you'll be able to feel it finally. Like what these big corporations, how they view the little people. They don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's all about their bottom line. And the fact that sometimes this bottom line is public, then they start saying, man, I only made 15 million. Y'all made $1 billion off this movie. And that's the thing too, is like I bet you if people were to demand these things beforehand, they wouldn't be casted. You know what I
Right.
mean? It sucks because it's such a crabs in the bucket mentality that like the ones that don't get over the top, they're like, man, this motherfucker, fuck them. You know what I mean? Don't go to the Grammys. Remember that shit?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's
And
crazy
then what happened? The
Yeah.
Oscars, and they were back at the Oscars, right?
because Nelly, how many? Okay, like when I say Denzel Washington, I'm just talking about Denzel Washington, Leo, just the ultimate superstar of like actors.
I'll watch an AI generated Leo movie.
Now, what percentage of actors are those guys compared to the working actors? Is it 1 to 99 or even less than 1%? Do you think?
Oh, those yeah, it's even I would say it's probably a little less, but it's between 0 and 1%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see it being over 2.
Yeah. No way.
So you're talking the elite of the elite, and we're talking against working actors.
Yeah.
We're
There's so
talking
many
the best.
actors in the city and in the country too, but working actors, there's so many working actors, and then you compare salaries. Their salaries compared to the union rate,
Yeah.
to the daily or the weekly rate.
Yeah.
Or maybe get double time. You either get time and a half a rate or a double time. I used to get time and a half usually, and then I get double time sometimes.
Okay.
So that's usually depending on how good your agent is.
And the reason why I'm even bringing that up is because, like, this union fight, this whole battle striking, it's not for the Denzel Washingtons and the Leos and guys like that. Like, I'm sure they want more money for things that they do, but they're pretty well off. And Tino, he's what up, Tino? It all comes down to today. And either we heal as a team or we crumble.
It's just like I'm of
Inch
inches.
by inch, play by play. I remember that. That was a great
Inch by inch,
great
play by
speech.
play. See it before it happens. Like, yeah, coach, let's get up in there. Remember, he was like,
Make sure you guys hang around. If you're listening to this in podcast form and you're listening to Act 1 right now, make sure you listen to Act 3 because we are going to have a nice part of that speech in there. And it's crazy because you hear some of the behind the scenes stories of this movie and star-studded cast.
Ooh, I'd like to hear the behind the scenes that you got, Alex, up your sleeves.
Yeah, so well, star-studded cast. How about we start there before we go into the behind the scenes? Oliver Stone,
what?
he's the man, of course. Al Pacino and Jamie
What?
Foxx. You
Stone
got-
does a lot of acting in it, by the way. He does a lot of
Yeah.
acting in it.
Heck yeah.
And he's good.
Cameron Diaz, Dennis
What?
Quaid,
What?
James Woods,
What?
LL Cool J.
What? Hold on, who's the QB? QB, come on, he's a big dog too.
Jamie Foxx.
No,
Oh, not Jamie Foxx.
Dennis Quaid. There you go.
Yeah, I said
Dennis
him
Quaid,
right.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that.
Lawrence Taylor and Jim Brown.
Hold on. Bill,
Yeah.
teach them how. Teach them how.
Bill Bellamy
Bill
is
Bellamy.
in there as well. You don't see him on screen too much, but T.O. is actually the number 2 wide receiver. Terrell Owens.
Oh, I didn't know that. I know
Yeah.
Bellamy was.
You see
Bellamy,
him,
he's a stand-up comic. I seen him in town here.
Yeah,
Heck
he's
yeah.
really
Outside,
good.
down the street.
He's really good.
he's the man. And her said the list of throwback celebrities. In 99, this is such a star-studded like cast and affair.
And I'm gonna be honest, I love this movie personally. A lot of people think this movie is shit. Like, how can it have such a cast and it's all the shittiest roles? And I don't tend to agree with that because I love this
Wow.
movie. So maybe I'm gonna see it through rose-colored lenses, as they would say.
I don't agree with anyone who says that. Just the Oliver Stone part of this, and then Jamie Foxx before he really hits it big, probably like Ray, where people really start taking him seriously as a leading man. This is
Look at on set, they weren't even taking him serious. Get on your mark.
And
Stand on your mark.
that's something we're gonna keep talking about throughout this. Jamie Foxx and LL Cool J, like they were really coming to blows.
They
Like,
really did. That actually in the movie, part of that scene is a shoot. Like that, it's legit. Like they just kept the footage because like they were really tussling on the ground.
Yeah, and they just mix that. They mix that in. It's supposed to be like a shoving match, but LL just really clocks them, and then they just end up using that for the film.
I thought it was Jamie in the real life story. Jamie's the one that clocked them.
Oh, no, I think Jamie got
But in the scene, oh, okay, I might have it because I know in the scene it's LL.
No, because Jamie, like the entire time, I mean, he talks about this, and I might need security. He was like, LL, talk about a method actor. Because I'm just saying on here, this is just normal shit. We're just acting offset. I'm just my normal self. But LL, he never came out of character. And he was like getting really pissed at him. He's like, man, I didn't like the way you're talking to me in the locker room. He was like, I was just reading the lines. That's it. See, read right here in the script. Like I'm just reading the lines. But LL, he's so pissed at the way that he was talking to him. He was so good when he was talking shit to him that LL was not having it. He really.
But you're supposed to be as a professional actor. You're supposed to be able to separate the two.
Yeah,
He's
well,
getting, he likes getting in fights and
You
really
know,
hitting
when
people.
I got casted as Bogard scot-free, I took this role on forever.
No, but I'd say you can
The
take the
movie
role on
never
without
even came
doing. You
out.
don't have to do it like out when you're not doing the scene. To each their own, but they're not necessarily a better actor on screen.
Funny as it'd be
There's
like,
actors that aren't method actors and they're amazing actors. So it's
what was
not.
LL
It's
Cool
like
J's
this.
name?
I tell you, it's like this. You got professional bodybuilders, right? One will say push pull, and one will say pull. You know the difference? Like push pull, like you do chest and back together, right? Because they're
Mhm.
opposite antagonistic muscle groups. Or you
Okay.
got someone that does back and biceps together.
Okay.
But they're both professional bodybuilders. They both pretty much look the same. But one does one over the other, but they both work, right? When it
Yeah.
comes down to results, that's what it comes down to what you got on stage, not what you got outside of the stage, really.
I like
Yeah.
that take. When I was
Yeah.
listening to your take, I actually remixed it and came up with my own. It's kind of fucking. It's doggy style. It's missionary. It's all
Yeah,
fucking.
exactly. Feels good, right?
Got 4 kids, so yeah, the result was there.
The
Yeah,
proof is
man.
in the pudding. The pudding.
And the thing that's crazy, like we talk behind the scenes stuff, Al Pacino going into this, they said he knew nothing about football, like very casual fan, even if that. And they're just like they're talking about the speech that he gives at the end. So we're
Man,
jumping ahead a
Fox
little
had to
bit.
give him a pep talk. Yeah, he's like, excuse me, sir. Mr. Pacino, excuse me. No, with honor, can you honor me? He didn't even know how to say it to him. He's like, just come on, kid, come out with it. Man, you're supposed to be like our father in here. You know what I mean? Like these kids, they play in the league. They came from nothing. Most of them came from broken homes. They ain't got fathers. These coaches are their fathers. You gotta speak to them in that manner.
Al Pacino's not a football guy. And then you got at the end of the movie when they're doing the speech, like Lawrence Taylor said, that was the best speech that a coach has ever delivered to me.
You know what's crazy is he smoked a lot of crack and did a lot of coke. I tend to believe that he's really sincere, that LT.
Yeah, for sure. There's no lie. There's no
Oh,
lie.
yeah, for sure.
All right, how about we just we got a couple clips queued up, and how about the clip where Willie Beeman actually gets into the game? A movie pretty much starts off like this.
I can't believe this. Can't believe it.
Do you know anything about Willie Beeman?
Who
They
is
had to take
What the hell are
the
you
hockey
doing?
joint, didn't
I
they?
told you to warm up 5 minutes ago. What happened? Look at your fucking plate.
What happened?
It's upside down. Come on, get your head out of your ass.
Yeah, that's a first. So we know that he's been in the league for now 5 years. He's been on 4 separate teams. We know nothing about him. The announcers know nothing about him. But what's his name? Cap Rooney. He goes down to start this game, and then
The backup guy goes down too.
within 2 or 3 plays of each
Within
other,
seconds.
it had to be back
And they
to back
fucked this
plays.
shit up. He had a torn MCL, ACL, all the bullshit.
Yeah, James Woods. I love him as the medical, like the head medical guy or whatever. What the hell happened to him? Did he fall off the bench?
Hey, why? What is the run-on joke of? You don't watch Family Guy. I don't really watch Family Guy either, but they always be having James Woods in there.
Jimmy Woods he's a gangster, man.
It's like what?
He's
It's
well
funny
respected.
because- Go ahead.
He was actually one of our clients when I did this. When I lived in Toronto, I did this concierge liaison job, and he was one of our clients.
Nice.
I met him a few times. He was a joker, man. Cool dude, though. Cool dude. He was just shooting a movie in New York and in Toronto. Flew out of LA.
What's that
He had me,
flight like? Is that like
he
an
had me
hour?
meeting people left and right. Hey, you gonna meet someone else? He called me up. He was a cool dude.
Jimmy Woods. I like
He's an old school type of dude, like a guy's guy type of guy.
it.
He's the guy that will never not have sideburns, huh?
I don't know that, but
I'm just saying, like,
he got
he strikes-
sideburns.
Yeah,
He's like the John Wayne of 2000.
yeah, you know what I mean. You never see John Wayne with no sideburns.
And her said,
John Wayne.
"R.I.P. Jim Brown." Hell yeah. And Tino said, "I fucking love this movie." And I can't believe Antonio said he's never seen this movie. Antonio, you got to go see this movie, man. It's an amazing movie.
Come on, Antonio.
There's a reason why we're doing these.
It's a game of inches.
We're getting ready for this. We're getting ready for this football season. And this is a classic movie to be able to cover. Getting ready for it. So Willie Beeman's in there now, and you find out really quickly that Cap is going to be out until the playoffs, and he's the ultimate leader in the NFL. He's an all-pro guy. I mean,
But
someone. I
behind
don't
the
know if
scenes,
he's won. I don't know if he's won whatever fake league they're in, championship, because they couldn't get the like
AA, whatever. What is it?
AAFL, I believe they said.
The
They couldn't.
Alcoholics Anonymous free clinic.
They could.
AAFC.
They could not get the likeness from the NFL teams at the time, because I mean they're filming this all down in Miami. They said just the people who were coming in like on the sideline just to watch the shoots.
Games.
Ridiculous amounts of celebrities coming through. And but they
And,
couldn't get the likeness for the Dolphins and for the NFL, so that's why they make up all these fake teams and
And
why they're
those unis,
Miami Sharks.
all the unis are terrible, except for
Yeah.
maybe the Sharks one, because that shit it looks clean, black and white. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the all black and white, yeah, looks cool. But yeah, everybody else very default. Like no, because you can't copy any NFL like color scheme.
What is it? The Albuquerque Aztecs or something? Like, come on, man! Like the Houston cattlers or something.
Butterflies. The Houston Butterflies.
Really, it's for years. You can make the Dolphins sound tough, right? Oh, the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, I don't think butterflies would ever like strike fear into the next man.
The Hurricanes make sense. The Hurricanes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Okay. So now we're at the point where they even they don't want to go with Willie because he played so shitty. They don't want to
Oh,
go to him.
hold on, and I wasn't even gonna jump until
Okay.
that game yet. How about just the locker room speeches? Like that's
A
what
lot of schlongs out. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about
I know.
What?
But I'm not.
like halftime. I'm talking about the halftime speeches, the
Oh,
pregame
okay.
speeches, because like we
You say
get
schlongs?
Yeah, you know when in the locker room, it just slongs out, and she's just the owner's Cameron Diaz just walking around. Go ahead, continue.
don't stiffen up on me.
Yeah, he was just talking to her casually.
Yeah, schlong just out.
But I'm talking about even in the very beginning, and because all the shit with Willie when he got in there, this is the first half of the game. So when you go into halftime and you see Jim Brown, he's talking shit to the defense. Motherfuckers, we made it simple enough for you, and this and that just going off. And then Al Pacino gets to talk shit. We had 3 losses in a row. And of course, we get a little look at LL Cool J and how he likes to bring that.
Well, you know what? I've got a feeling that wasn't scripted
I don't think so either.
because
Seems
the
like-
way Pacino goes, "What the hell you doing?" That looked really kind of like he didn't know what was going on. And directors will do that sometimes. Say, "Hey, stand up and see how he reacts." And he's such a good actor that you just react to whatever you do in the moment. And you stay on script.
right.
Or, oh, you're off script, but you stay in character.
Because even the way he smiled.
Exactly. That too. I was about to say that too.
Yeah, that
You guys are
you know
getting
why?
keen. You guys are getting keen, Alex.
Because when you're a coach too, you know what I'm saying? It's you have to play a role too. He almost broke character. Ah, you son of a bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
such a serious moment. He's trying to rally his guys, and he got his hand up looking like a jack. You know what I mean? He's, hey, but see, that's a great way to break the monotony, to break the tension anyway. Made everybody laugh. They all came together on something right there. That's what a team, that's what a good coach is supposed to try to do anyway. You got to get your guys to come together as a team. The fact that they could all laugh and break that tension right there together, it shows in the second half of that game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he LL walked up, stood up on his own, or he's told by the director to do that. Now, Alex, feel free to go ahead and ask me if this movie was like realistic. I was in both forums as far as sports, and when I was a kid, because my friend dad used to coach pro ball, and then the socialites. I was around. My friend played pro hockey, and then I was around all that stuff. So it was funny to watch how the Carmen Diaz character and her mother and stuff. And then the party girls in the club and stuff, and then
Sure.
the coach getting approached. That's all
yeah.
friggin' real, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I think this is why I gravitated towards this movie as a kid. I was like, man, this is hard. And then, you know what's funny? When they were writing this movie, they were like, we need LT. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Could you imagine?
He was
if
good
we had-
too.
Can
Well,
you
you needed to bring their authenticity to it, right? He was a
Yeah.
player that had a phenomenal career on the cocaine.
They used a lot of football players, right? Real football. We mentioned
They had
Jim.
Terrell Owens in that
LT.
motherfucker.
Barry Switzer was the announcer. He used to coach the Dallas
Yep.
Cowboys, as you guys know.
Barry.
up song?
There's a couple other ones too I recognize. McGinley, he's in all these movies. That McGinley actor,
Yeah.
he played the reporter.
Yep.
Wasn't he
So-
just in a movie that we reviewed? Wasn't he in?
Point Break, right?
Yeah, Point Break.
He's always a sleaze. And every role that he plays a good sleaze ball.
Sure does.
That's crazy because he was probably born to play that role. He probably had no one liked him in real life. They're like, you know what, you'd be great for my movie. And then it just that was the guy he was casted for. Every role, he's like a little scummy.
Yep.
They love to typecast you in Hollywood too. So
And
for
so,
sure.
what you were talking about, Nelly, the relationship between the mom and the daughter. So we get a little bit of insight into Cameron Diaz, because she's the owner of the team. And we find out her dad passed away. We don't know when. It had to be somewhat
It
recently.
was recent though.
Yeah, and the mom.
And she's trying to get taken serious as an owner because she's like hot for an owner. You know what I'm saying? And like
she's young.
And her dad built a dynasty. Apparently, this was like they're supposed to be like the creme de la creme of this league. You know what I mean?
Yep. And Al Pacino is supposed to be the creme de la creme of coaches.
He's the Belichick of this universe.
For sure.
It's a game of inches.
And one of the funny storylines in this movie is when we get introduced to Jessie Spano, and she comes in, and it's out.
Another great typecast. She plays a phenomenal hooker.
Definitely. Yeah, I guess she's played.
Showgirl. She was basically.
She started. I mean, she's a stripper. I don't think she has sex for money.
Okay.
Oh, she's the one that said that it was $1,000 and $5,000 for the night, right?
Yeah. And this is Miami, so I'm sure that there's call girls just walking around. That's exactly what they're getting, if not more.
But he's liking on this one though.
I mean, because he's such a good coach, and I remember this play that you called like this one year.
Yeah, when she was 16 years old or something. She couldn't wait to get older.
Stroking his ego completely.
Yeah, tell me what. This dick is a game of inches.
I tell you guys, man, even the hookers aside, you take your average girl that's like dealing with these pro athletes and stuff.
Yeah.
They're always on their best behavior. This is one side of life one side of women that your average dude does not see unless the dude's just a huge player, right?
Yeah.
But the average guy just doesn't see like how well behaved these women are when they're around men of status.
So pretty much we've got the story set up here. It's really, they need to win a certain amount of games to make it to the playoffs. They're potentially going to sell the team if they don't win enough games. And their star QB is out. They're down to their version of Brock Purdy, for those who need a current.
Okay, I will go with that.
Yeah, it's Jamie. He's the third
white
string,
Purdy.
He's a third string quarterback. A lot of the other stuff, being from Houston, being on 4 teams in 5 years, those kind of things don't mesh. But he's someone who super undervalued, and it's because of character issues. Because of character issues.
Hey, how long? Isn't it crazy how much this movie's about football, and it's 2 hours and some change, and it's not, and
240.
Like 240, damn, bro. It's really about the game. I like that, but I love how this is one of those movies that actually focus on the other elements of the game. Contracts, incentives, fucking the steroids and drug PED usage, the regular recreational drug usage, like really how it is in the league.
Tino loves him some Brock Purdy, but he said Beeman over Purdy.
I think I figured it out why the NFL wouldn't sign off on this is because they're about to show shit like that. You know what I mean?
Antonio said, definitely got to watch this movie. Yeah, and maybe it was...
Yes, Antonio, yes.
All the hookers that were around, all the blow. I know they only really had one big party scene where they're all just nothing but hookers.
Antonio was like, they do blow in there? I'm watching it.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty sure you could see LT back in his element.
I'm gonna be real with you too. It's like when I actually heard that he was like really getting into character. That was real blow he was sniffing in that movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I never saw a lot of drugs. I saw a lot of alcohol.
It's more the innuendos.
But I was looking around hockey players though.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But they like to drink, and they drink beer mainly.
Yeah. We've got the whole story built up. We got Steamin' Willie Beeman, the third string quarterback who's in there. We know that the starting quarterback, the all-pro, he's going to come back around playoffs if they make it to playoffs. And if they don't make it to playoffs, they might be selling the team altogether. So I think this is a good spot to wrap up act number 1. And for everyone who is listening on podcast form, make sure you subscribe to the Silver Screen Breakdowns YouTube channel, and vice versa. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the Silver Screen Breakdowns podcast.
And don't leave.
If you're watching live.
Nelly, let know.
Yeah. Oh, you can find me at Nelson Times on Instagram. Just throw in search my name. And on YouTube here, you can find my demo reel work and some montages of my commercials early on. And then I did a bunch of film and TV compilation I put together. It's on YouTube. I got a little channel over here.
Yes, and tune in next time for Act 2 of Any Given Sunday Silver Screen Breakdown. Will our heroes get this team together? Is it a game of inches? Tune in next time, folks.
Peace.
Silver screen, motion picture shit. This ain't a dream, we really lit this shit. Don't intervene, yo, we with this shit. That's where the most high, we the most lit.